Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining in. I'm Linda Yarjo, and I'll be your moderator for this evening. We have 8 candidates here with us tonight, and they will introduce themselves as we move through the forum. Unfortunately, Robin Edwards is unable to join us this evening and has asked that we read a statement on her behalf. Robin had an immediate family member pass away yesterday. She is grieving with her family at this time. She loves Penhold and still wants to be considered for town council. She hopes you can understand why she couldn't be here tonight and still hopes to earn your vote on October 18th. She has sent out her emails and will be available later this week to answer any questions. Our thoughts are with you, Robin. I would just like to remind the audience that this process is new to us all, so thank you for your patience as we experience this virtual format together. The format for the candidate forum will be in 2 parts as follows. Part 1 from now until 7:30. Candidates will be afforded 2 minutes for opening remarks and then 1 minute for each predetermined question chosen from those submitted by members of the community in advance. We'll have a 10-minute break following those 3 questions, and then part 2, approximately 7:30 to 8:30, each candidate will be given the opportunity to speak to each of the 3 additional questions we choose that have been provided by you, the viewer, live during this interactive forum. Charlene Sanchez is on hand to sort these questions into the 3 most frequently asked questions. Each candidate will then provide their closing remarks. We have a timer on hand and are ready to go to work. Thank you to Rick Benendijk for timing, and the candidates have been briefed on the process. As a reminder as well to all of us, this meeting is being recorded and will be available to our audience later. When candidates arrived, they drew for the speaking order, so we will begin tonight with Mike Walsh. And the first question then, Mike, is how do you view your role as a councillor?
Good evening. My name is Mike Walsh, and on October 18th, I'm asking for your vote. My wife and I value serving others, so much so that we teach it to our children. Our oldest boy served 6 years in the Royal Canadian Air Force as a medic and is now a member of the Edmonton Police Service, serving the people of Edmonton. My wife actively volunteers within the community on different community groups. I've been fortunate enough to serve this community for the past 8 years as a councillor. During this time, I've been a liaison to Jesse Duncan PAC, Penhold Crossing PAC, and the Penhold Optimists. I've also served on the Fall Festival Committee, Intermunicipal Relations, Central Alberta Waste Authority, and the Central Alberta Economic Partnership. In the past 4 years, I've served as chairman of the South Red Deer Regional Wastewater Commission and the Municipal Planning Commission. I value a team collaborative approach to solving problems. Based on conversations with you, here are my priorities for the next 4 years. Number 1, fiscal responsibility. We need to spend our money wisely, and we need to continue to make Penhold competitive and attractive for new people looking to move to our town. I'm so proud to be part of a team that in the last 2 years we've cut your taxes. And in my 8 years on council, we've cut taxes 3 different times. I also think it's time to start advocating that the provincial government start collecting their own taxes, especially around the school requisition. That takes up almost a quarter of all the money we collect. Number 2, we need affordable and accessible amenities. The town has recently partnered with community groups to have outdoor amenities built. We need to continue to partner with those groups because it builds community and everyone has a part to play. We need to finalize the rec area around the multiplex. It is time to get this done. And we need to respond to the mental health challenges. We also need to grow Penhold with a plan towards the 2 and 42 junction. On October 18th, I ask you to vote Mike Walsh.
Mike, I'm just going to interrupt our proceedings because I think I'm confused you right off. We're going to do a 2-minute introduction and then the first questions. So I'll give you an extra minute to answer your first question, and I think we need to follow that format from here on in, if that's all right. So we're going to do your introduction and the first question. You'll get 3 minutes to start with. And I apologize for the confusion. You okay, Mike?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, folks.
Your role as a councillor is to represent all the people of Penhold, not just those who vote for you, not just your friends and your family, but everybody. Everybody deserves to have their voice heard. I also believe that you have to be a team player. And a team player means you have to be able to work with 6 other members of council, administration, residents, regional partners, and federal partners, because we all have a part to play. And the more we can work together, the better the community will be. I also believe that we have to be visionary leaders. It's easy to solve the here and the now, but what about 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years in the future? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And next we'll have Tyrone. And just to be clear, Tyrone again, go ahead. You're introducing yourself and answering the first question, which is how do you review your role as a counselor? And so you will have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. Good evening. I'm Tyrone Mueller, and I'm seeking re-election for my 2nd term. I moved to Penhold in 2004 as a first-time home buyer, and I've grown to really love this town. I recently just purchased my 2nd home in Penhold and plan on being here for many years to come. First of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be your representative on town council the past 4 years. If re-elected, I would want to focus on 3 things: communication, citizen engagement, economic development, and safety. Now, there have been improvements with communication by revamping our town website and updating our email fan out system. And by implementing a live video broadcast, we've opened up options for citizen engagement. But there's things we could improve. I think we could consider implementing, expanding our free Wi-Fi to more town facilities and maybe even our business commercial zone. This would ensure all residents have access to digital communications. We should renew our commitment to paper copy communications like the Penhold Reporter and our utility tax inserts for residents that aren't comfortable with technology. And the other thing is we should keep recordings of our town council meetings for people that aren't able to watch our meetings live on Monday nights. So the top frustration for many residents is property taxes. And the one reason they trend higher in Penhold is that our tax base is 90% residential. If we work on economic development, we can shift that tax burden over to the commercial industrial base. To entice this development, we will need to work on promoting our town and what it has to offer for businesses. We also need to be open to considering tax incentives for businesses to build in town with the outlook of job creation and future tax revenues. In order to maximize our marketing potential, we may need to consider hiring a full-time professional economic development officer that can focus their time on promoting our town and negotiating with prospective developments. Finally, on the topic of safety, we need to work on leveraging the most potential of our community peace officers. The more they patrol around town, the more we can curb bad driving habits and suspicious activity. We could also look at purchasing more speed signs as a way to remind motorists to slow down in town. The initiative to organize the Citizens on Patrol program is something we need to support in any way we can. Reporting crime and suspicious activity will go a long way in reporting and getting RCMP resources focused on Penhold. Now on to the first question. My role as a counselor, I feel, is to debate with other counselors to develop direction and vision for the community to move forward. As a counselor, we need to stay informed and consider all points of view of matters brought to council to ensure that a decision reflects what is best for the majority of residents and for the future of the town. It's ironic that during the campaign we work alone, but after the election we must work together as a council team, otherwise there would be no progress. As a counselor, you advocate to agencies and other levels of government through letters and meetings to express concerns on matters that affect Penhold. One of my favorite parts of being a counselor is fulfilling the role of ambassador, representing the town anywhere I go, at conventions, meetings, parades, proclaiming all of the great qualities of Penhold. Finally, as counselors, we need to engage in the community, get out to major events like business grand openings, to be aware of what is going on and to listen to the concerns of our residents.
Hi, I am Ken Denson, a retired firefighter with 32 years of service. My wife and I have lived in Penhold for 7 years, and I'm serving my first term on council. I'm also privileged to be the deputy mayor at this time. There are many accomplishments we've had over the last 4 years, such as the money-saving solar panels on the roof of this multiplex, Critters Corner Playground, and of course, the new skate park and pump track. But let's talk about what we can look forward to. Everyone wants a safe and crime-free community. First off, we need to be involved. Get to know your neighbors, at least to say hello. Report crime and suspicious activities. The more we report, the more the RCMP can use these stats to increase manpower. Check our town website, Community Safety and Crime Awareness Committee. It has valuable information. I believe recreation is a cornerstone to grow a vibrant community. We have a beautiful indoor facility, but we need more playgrounds, soccer pitches, and ball diamonds. Recreation brings people out, people bring business in, and together they form a thriving community with a stable tax base. I will continue to advocate for a new elementary school. The Penhold Elementary was built in 1954, a time when train traffic was minimal. Now the school has gotten older and the train traffic has increased substantially. The town has designated land, but we need to push our provincial government to come through. Penhold Elementary has fantastic teachers, support staff, and parent council. Now we need to give them the facility to do their job. You can call, email, or write your MLA, Devin Dreeshen, and the Minister of Education, Adriana LaGrange. There are many seniors in Penhold and empty nesters who would love to size down and remain in town, but they have no other options. I would like to facilitate a plan to work with developers to build smaller, lower maintenance homes while freeing up larger, more affordable homes for families. I see this as a win-win for everyone. The next 4 years will be a busy time, and I would love to be a part of it and to hear any questions or concerns you may have. Thank you. And my role on council. 4 years ago, I decided that rather to find fault, I wanted to be part of the solution. I made a decision to run for office, and with that decision came the responsibility to serve with thoughtfulness and prudence, to ensure our tax dollars are spent well, and to promote the town with integrity and honesty, and that our citizens feel safe and their voices heard. Those values still hold true. Thank you.
I guess my thing's a bit big for this. Okay. Thank you. Hello. For those of you who don't already know me, my name is Teresa Cunningham. I am married and a mother of 2 wonderful kids who attend the schools here in Penhold. I was born in Red Deer, and Central Alberta has always been a huge part of my life. In fact, actually, my first job was working at Wee Willie's Hamburgers out on Gasoline Alley. And not to date myself, but wow, has that area changed a lot. My husband and I, we've had our business going on 8 years now, of which I've been the bookkeeper. And I've also volunteered at the local schools, soccer club, museum, fish and game, to name a few. And I'm very proud to say that most recently I've helped found the Penhold Citizens on Patrol. I believe in helping where I can and giving back to my community. So what can I say? I love Penhold. I absolutely love it here. And as a business owner and bookkeeper, I do understand the importance of being fiscally responsible. I would like to be part of the discussion about tax incentives to continue to attract residents and businesses to our growing town. I'd also like to see some more amenities for our residents, young and old. This is something that I've heard echoed from many of you while handing out pamphlets. I also believe that polls are a really great way to engage with residents, to see what topics are on the forefront of most people's minds. So for example, who knew chickens would be such a topic of conversation this year? And if elected, I look forward to being able to collaborate with fellow council members on your behalf and continue to contribute to the future of Penhold. And as for our first question, how do I view my role as counselor? Well, several words would come to mind when I think of the role of counselor: humbling, fulfilling, and responsibility. It's an honor to be elected. That means that other people are invested in you to make decisions on their behalf. And with that comes great responsibility. It's also a wonderful way to give back to your community and contribute in a meaningful way. I can bring to the table my fiscal responsibility, my willingness to search for solutions, and work together as a team. It is amazing what can be accomplished if everyone works together and pulls in the same direction. Penhold is such a wonderful town, and it really would be an honor to serve on council. Thank you.
Pre-speech jitters. Hello, I'd like to introduce myself to anybody that doesn't know who I am. My name is Mike Klitsch. I've lived in Penhold since 2005. Me and my wife moved here from British Columbia. We decided to move to Penhold because we love the community. When we moved here, I started on the fire department the minute I came. I've been a dedicated firefighter to this community for 14 years, and since we started, sorry, a little nervous. Since we moved here, I've been on the fire department for 14 years, and I've continued to be on the department. My wife and I, we started a family here, 2 boys. Both of them are very engaged in the community and love everything about the town. Volunteered with numerous activities around town through the fire department and have grown with the community. I've also enjoyed seeing the past council members and council team develop and grow the town. Problem I had was I lived out of town, or I worked out of town, and I was not able to commit more time to the town, but that has changed. So given that opportunity, now that I am in town, I wanted to step up and be a bigger part of my community and do more for the town. And I figured, what better chance? Start now and go from there. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not very long-winded. I'm straight to the point, and we'll leave the first part at that. We'll go to the first question. How do I view my role as a councillor? I feel that running for council has given me a great opportunity to meet a lot more people in the community. I feel that running for council, the voters, if I do get elected, that means a lot. Voters have trusted me to bring their concerns and priorities to the rest of the council and make informed decisions that would be the best for the town. Something more I could do for the community being part of council. I have learned and seen a lot of growth in the town and want to continue and see the further growth of the town for the next 10, 15 years.
Good evening, residents of Penhold and council candidates. My name is Julia King, and I'm running for Penhold Council. Penhold has been my hometown for 42 years. I'm married to John, and I'm a mother of 2, and blessed with 8 grandchildren. We chose Penhold for the small town atmosphere to raise our family. My work experience was in the banking industry for 29 years, holding positions as office manager, internal auditor, and financial advisor. I've been honored to previously serve as a Penhold Town Councillor for 10 years. As well, I'm very proud to say I've served as Penhold's first female mayor for 12 years. I have also served on Central Alberta Economic Partnership Board and the Alberta Citizens Appeal Panel for Assured Income for Severely Handicapped. Currently, I serve on 2 separate subdivision and development appeal boards in Central Alberta, as well as I volunteer with the Penhold Community Leaders Society, also known as Critters Corner. I am committed to working together with council to implement new initiatives to attract more business and to grow our local economy. Maintain a balance between fiscal responsibility and municipal services. Consult with builders and land developers to offer more variety of housing for seniors and persons with disabilities. Also, I'd like to advocate to the RCMP for more police presence and continue support for our emergency services. Also to support current and future recreation and trails planning that benefits all ages and abilities. And continue to collaborate with community groups for new ideas and funding opportunities. These are a few things that I've heard in talking with residents, and these would be items that I would be interested in continuing to have attention to. Now, for the question, how do you view your role as councillor? I view my role as an ambassador in promoting our community, a community builder, and an advocate for our town's needs to other levels of government, and work with other municipalities to benefit all of us in the region. I'd be willing to work with my community and council members and be willing to learn on how we can be better and do better. Be a logical thinker and make informed decisions for the betterment of our community. I would be asking questions and don't settle for status quo. Thank you.
Residents of Penhold, my name is Sean Cranenberg, and I'm seeking re-election for Penhold Town Council. I was raised in Penhold and have lived the majority of my 38 years here. When my wife, Kisa, and I got married, we chose Penhold as a home for ourselves and our daughters Shelby, Kyra, Layla, and our little son, Luca. As a member of council for the last 4 years, I have served on Jesse Duncan and Penhold Elementary Parent Councils, as well as the Community Services Advisory Board, Community Safety and Crime Awareness Committee, as well as the Central Combative Sports Commission. In addition to currently serving as town councillor, I am also a teacher, former auxiliary constable with the RCMP, and member of the Canadian Forces Military Police. I am also extremely excited that in March I will become a first-time grandfather. I believe politics is about people, not policies. My approach to politics has always been one of finding common ground, seeking where possible the common good, and using something all too commonly missing in politics, common sense. I believe that the job of council is to work through division to build a vision, and I promise to do both if re-elected, in order to reduce taxes with sustainable business, reduce crime in Penhold, and work to continue development of recreational areas. As a lifelong resident, I have a passion for Penhold and compassion for the people who call it home. The ethos of service before self is something the military has truly taught me, and is something I live by every day and will continue to bring to council if given the privilege of serving another term. Your vote is about your choice, not chance, and I hope to earn the privilege of being your choice and voice for the next 4 years. How do I see my role on council? The motto of our town is honoring the past, challenging the future. As someone who has lived here for much of my last 38 years, I feel as though I have a role and responsibility to not only honor where we've come from, but challenge and change where we are going. I also see my role as councillor as someone who's considered the welfare and well-being of not only the community as a whole, but also the different diverse groups that make up our town. At the table of council, and also to advocate on behalf of provincial and federal governments. As a father of a 4-year-old son, teen daughter, and 2 adult daughters, I know the stresses of family life and the stresses that bills and utilities and taxes bring to the table. Also, if re-elected, this term will see me serving as council, as I said, as a new grandfather, making decisions that will undoubtedly affect yet another generation of my family and yours, and the 5th generation of people in my family who have called the Penhold area home. This will broaden my understanding of perspectives with the grandparents and parents and children who call Penhold home. I truly see my role as a representative and an employee of every resident of this town. And I feel that my personal life and family background, having spent my entire life in this town, will connect me to the concerns of all residents and allow me to serve in this capacity competently and confidently. I look forward to your vote on October 18th. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sean Ham, and I'm running for re-election for Penhold Town Council. My wife, Sarah, and I, and our family, our boys, Caleb and Seth, have made Penhold home over the last 20 years. We love Penhold. Our kids took their first steps here in Penhold. Our kids learned to ride a bike here in town. And we are proud to call Penhold home, and we're proud to continue to raise our family here. It's been an honor serving as Penhold Town Councilor this last 4 years. We as a council have been fiscally responsible with your tax dollars. Taxes have not increased during this 4-year term, and over the last 2 years, we have lowered taxes, putting more money in the pockets of our residents. We must continue to be fiscally responsible. Our council team could have never imagined leading through a pandemic. We've made it through the pandemic strong, and our future is bright. I'm committed to working with council and for our families and for our children through crime prevention and awareness. It's important that we have a safe community where our kids can play. I'm also committed to see our commercial and industrial growth grow along Highway 42. We need to grow our business development. We need to be able to take the burden off our taxpayers. And so I'm committed to growing our industrial and commercial growth. Penhold is a great community to start and sustain a live and thriving business. Question 1, how do you view your role as a councillor? I take it as an honor to serve as a councillor for our town. When the community votes for me, I take every vote seriously. Every vote represents a family. Every vote represents somebody from our community. Every vote represents a voice. My role as a councillor is to work with other councillors toward common goals that are for the benefit of our community. Together we can accomplish so much more. As a councillor, I have represented the town of Penhold well. I have a duty to consider the welfare and interests of our municipality as a whole, and to bring to attention anything that would promote the welfare or interests of Penhold. We work together and develop policies and programs that benefit the municipality. I ask that you elect Sean Ham for Penhold Town Council this October 18th.
Go ahead. Okay. Okay. Thank you to all of the candidates for making it through the first question, I guess. And thank you for adjusting so quickly to the slight adjustment in our format. And you can all take a deep breath now. You've made it to the second question. Our second question for the audience is, what are 3 things you think attract people to living in Penhold, and 3 things you think we could improve on to attract new residents? And we'll start again with Mike Walsh.
Thank you very much. Not a lot of time to answer a loaded question. 3 things that attract people to Penhold. I believe it's the family-friendly small town atmosphere that this town provides. The events from Fall Festival to our winter celebration to our spring celebration to just the community being together. I think our K-12 school system has really attracted people to Penhold. It hasn't been very long that kids could go to school from kindergarten through grade 12. And it really helps that the newest school is attached to the multiplex. And hopefully a new school is soon to follow. I also believe people move to Penhold because of affordability and location. You can buy a bigger house for less in Penhold, and you're still just a few minutes away from some key services, Gasoline Alley or Red Deer. 3 things that I believe that we can do better. Number 1, we have to provide more outdoor amenities. If COVID has taught us anything, it's that people need something to do without something getting in the way of them doing it. We need to finalize the multiplex rec area. We need to connect this town through trails. But all of these things must be affordable. We need to provide our residents with more opportunities to use the multiplex, more drop-in activities, skating or gym use, or just make it very affordable, like a Looney Day or a Toonie Day. And finally, we need more businesses in town. We need to have business tax incentives to hopefully attract more people. And we need a plan for towards the 2 and 42 junction. That plan would lead us to financial stability for Penhold. Thank you.
Okay, I swear Walsh has not left his notes up here. These are the same things, some of the same things he said. So 3 things that I think attract residents to Penhold. First, family friendly. We do have a large demographic of people moving to Penhold that are young parents with children. And you can see that as soon as you drive into town, you see youth everywhere. Second is this facility we're in, the multiplex. It's a fantastic facility with the library that we're in, gymnasium, arena, gym club, and a walking track. Third is schooling, K-12 within our town limits with great accessibility and no requirement to bus to other communities. So there are 3 things that we could improve upon. First is our recreation. We have a good start with our amenities, but we could definitely expand on our trails. It's the #1 item identified in our survey, and we should develop our recreation lands around the multiplex. Second is marketing and promotions. We should work on expanding our marketing that we have on radio to other social media and digital billboards. And third is taxes. Even though we've held the taxes for the last 7 years, we should look at working on keeping fiscal responsibility to ensure value for our tax dollars.
If I can refer back to my speech at the beginning of the program, we are working very hard right now to lower crime rate and give the town a sense of safety and security. We keep working hard to lower the taxes and keep them stable. And we have quality schools and diversified recreation for all ages. To improve our attractiveness would be to continue with our residential tax incentive programs and further it to commercial and industrial projects. Increase our outdoor recreation and transportation system, bike paths. To get back to organized sports and clubs for kids, these are good for the mind and good for the spirit. Thank you.
Okay, so 3 things that attract people to Penhold, 3 things we could improve upon. So 1, just the people themselves. Penhold people are fantastic, wonderful families here. Neighbors make neighborhoods, and neighborhoods build communities. We've got access to local amenities. We have many local businesses and activities, or K through 12, which was mentioned, and there's not much need to go into Red Deer anymore. We also have location. We have the proximity to a bigger center with still being small enough that there's not a big commute and you still know each other at the grocery store. Things to improve would be more amenities. That's been echoed over and over again. Advocating for the new school to be built, which hopefully would be coming within the next 3 years. Diversifying our housing for new buyers and seniors. And third, examine our tax rates so that we can keep that where it is without seeing increases, hopefully. So thank you. Bye.
Whoa, what are 3 things that attract people to Penhold? I'm talking to many of the residents. The small town feel. Everybody's welcomed. Everybody has fun. Everybody enjoys talking to everybody. Another big attraction to the town is community events. The Fall Festival, Community Christmas, even the Christmas hampers were a great idea last year done by the previous town council, and everybody enjoyed them. Another great attraction is the schools. School size, class sizes in Penhold. The more one-on-one our children get with the teachers is better for them, better for their future. 3 things we can improve on. More business in town to at least keep the taxes where they are or to lower them. That will help immensely. Crime. Everybody has a concern about crime in town. That is something we need to talk to the people, collaborate with the peace officers to figure out what is best and what our options are. And another thing we could improve on is lack of parks and activities for the teenagers in the town to give them something to do and keep them occupied. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, 3 things that attract people to Penhold. Of course, we've noted the small town atmosphere, with close proximity to larger municipalities. Of course, our schools, kindergarten to grade 12, less disruption for our children, and little to no busing costs. Our community is geared to young families, and our town's average age is 33. So when people are Googling our looking at our community to move to, this is certainly showing us that we are a young community. 3 things to improve: our family outdoor recreation options, many areas there that we can continually use our other facilities other than multiplex as well. Attracting businesses that are either large job creators or certainly employ more than 2 employees. Opportunities for more social gatherings throughout the year, cultural events, high school rodeos, special sports events, conferences, and concerts should all be considered to increase the use of our multiplex. And of course, when we are able to do so, these are things that I'd like to see that we work on. Thank you.
Some of the things that make our town great are, again, the small town friendly atmosphere and chance for your child to go to school K to 12, all within the safety of this town. Penhold's proximity to Red Deer also means we're insulated from much of the hustle and bustle of the big city life, but not isolated from the many amenities that Red Deer provides the community around it. The affordability of getting into a smaller housing market and the tax incentives provided by this council are also building Penhold for the new home buyer. When it comes to things we can improve on, I believe it's important to consider the perspectives of our current residents. We need to improve the sense of safety and security that our residents feel. We need to diversify our business sector and allow for a reduced tax burden on residents. And we also need to make sure that our parks, playgrounds, and areas, like the multiplex, are developed in a sustainable and yet substantial manner, with the areas around the multiplex focusing on development for teens and young children that make our community a great place to be.
Three things that make Penhold great. I love our small town community. I love sitting on my deck, enjoying the stars at night without the fear or the sounds of sirens and things like that. Penhold's a very quiet community. The multiplex, we have a first-class facility that boasts a great ice surface, is known for having the best ice in central Alberta. We have a great fitness center that has modern equipment, provides a clean atmosphere for those that want to improve their mental and physical health. We also offer a wide range of services in Penhold. IGA, Penhold Dental, the walk-in clinic, food options such as the Pizza Stop, Subway, Tim Hortons, and coming soon, Dairy Queen. So excited to see where Penhold is going. 3 things that we can improve on. Recreation amenities for people of all ages, including trail systems and the development of our recreational area. We saw the community gather like never before at the multiplex this year for Fall Festival. We must continue to develop this recreational area. Grow our industrial and commercial sector to provide jobs for residents. We need to attract new business in the industrial and commercial sector. Businesses will create a financial security and social mobility that will provide our community with a higher standard of living. And last, I want to see us continue the new home buyer program. The new home buyer program was developed to offer individuals purchasing a newly constructed home in Penhold a municipal tax reduction of 50% in the first year and 25% in the second year. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, candidate. There are no 50-plus livings or affordable housing options in Penhold. Is the development of such housing something you would support and explore with developers?
Absolutely. I support affordable housing. We need to encourage all developers and builders to be proactive in this area. In 2019, as chair of the Municipal Planning Commission, I promoted discussion around affordable housing as we updated our municipal development plan. And that is good news, because that is the first step to having affordable housing in Penhold. We also need to advocate to the federal government to follow through on their affordable housing commitments. This should have been a key election issue, and it was dropped by the wayside. Affordable housing is not just being able to buy your first home or your second home. We also have to have housing that provides rental options for people. Currently, less than 5% of our houses in Penhold operate as rentals. We should do more, and we can do more. Thank you.
I have a 78-year-old mother that is a widower, and she chose to make Penhold a home a few years ago. I'm able to help her maintain independence in her home, but I know that when the time comes for her next move, there are no options in Penhold for senior homes and care facilities. We also lack options for affordable housing in this town. I would welcome an opportunity to work with a developer to investigate options that would work on a smaller scale in Penhold. A gated community might be a great addition to our town for the 50 plus, but we would want to consider options to ensure that proper management of that community is met to meet certain standards. We may have to consider new development models like tiny home neighborhoods to fulfill lower budgets and account for the inability to maintain a large space. We should also investigate federal grant program opportunities and leverage their expertise to find development models that fit our needs.
Yes, I do support the 50-plus housing, being 50-plus myself. I do not want to leave Penhold. I love it here. So I think this is something that we desperately need. I would like to think that I led the charge in this. In spring, I had a conversation with Greg Brox from Melcor Developments and Cindy Smythe from Abbey Homes just about this topic, and a plan is very promising. There are so many options, and I would hope to work with other stakeholders to bring this to fruition. I would like nothing more than to have the opportunity to see this and my other proposal projects through to the end. Thank you.
All right, third question. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking this, because I was just talking about this the other day with one of our residents. Stairs aren't so nice as we age, and not everyone wants or can care for a yard. I would love to be able to offer incentives to build a 50-plus option, ranchers, or we have like one condo here in town. We are all going to be there eventually, and we need a variety of options for all demographics. All these kids in town, and there are 2,600 of them, they will grow up and leave home if we're lucky, and we will need other housing options. Personally, I'd hate to have to move because that wasn't offered here. We need to market Penhold to be attractive to all ages. Thank you.
Absolutely. I would definitely support 50-plus living or affordable housing in Penhold. There's many community members that have grown up here, started a family here, and their whole family lives here. Just because you get into 50-plus doesn't mean you want to leave town. You love your community and you want to stay here. So why can't we give you the option to stay in your community? As far as affordable housing, absolutely. The more people we can get to Penhold, make the community better, stronger, and more fun for everybody. Everybody should have the chance to live in the community, no matter what their budget or their financial situation is. Thank you.
I definitely would support this initiative. This is an area that needs proactive consideration. I would encourage council working together to consult with builders and land developers to offer these options. I would also advocate for persons with disabilities to be included in the planning and design. I've seen many long-time community members having to move because there wasn't the housing amenities available here. We need to be a more inclusive community in this area as we age in place. I have had the ability to speak with other municipality council candidates, and they face the same issues in their municipalities. I think in the region, if we can work together with other municipalities, we may have that advantage to offer affordable living homes that can suit everyone's needs. Thank you.
Having seen the struggles my wife faced previously as a single mom, I know the importance of having affordable housing in any community. Likewise, I'm acutely aware of the limited options my parents and many like them have in Penhold when they can no longer maintain their own house. If re-elected, I will work with council to explore options available to us in concert with provincial and federal government initiatives in order to seek long-term solutions for affordable and senior housing. This is an issue that must be addressed holistically, however. It's not good enough to simply provide housing to these groups of residents. We also need to ensure that Penhold is a town that can fully support and sustain these residents who choose to call this town home. To do this, we must continue to build our businesses to support and sustain the residents who many times will struggle with the means of accessing greater amenities in places like Red Deer. Likewise, we need a broadened business base not only to provide business opportunities for these people and give them an opportunity to shop right here in Penhold, but to also lower the tax burden of living here in Penhold long term.
I support 50-plus living and affordable housing in Penhold. Decent, affordable housing reduces stress, toxins, infectious disease, which leads to improvement in both physical and mental health. Affordable housing also frees up funds within families' tight budget to spend on healthcare and food. Affordable housing is also important to the economic vitality of our community. We also need more in the form of seniors housing, a range of housing options that helps ensure that they can live in the same community safely, independently, and as comfortably as they age. I would be willing to work with our council team if re-elected and with developers on seniors housing and affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the first part of our evening. And for those of you who are viewing us live, we are about to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll return with the next round. Thank you so much. returning. I hope you did. And we're moving to part 2 of our forum this evening. Each candidate will be given an opportunity to speak to 3 additional questions, and they'll have 2 minutes for each question. They got the 3 additional questions about 3 minutes ago, so they're hastily making notes. And I see Mike Walsh is ready to start with the first question, which is, what do you feel to be your toughest challenge being on council in the next 4 years, and why?
Well, thank you. I believe the biggest challenge the next council is going to face is increasing costs. The previous council has done an excellent job dropping the mill rate from 9.3 down to 8.8 in the last 2 years. This comes at a time when the provincial government continues to increase costs on municipalities. They've also decided to provide us with less grant money for capital projects. This could result in quite a debate around the council table on how to get things built. I also have great concerns about the cost of the RCMP moving forward. In 2021, Penhold paid almost $94,000 in policing. And while the RCMP do their best to be visible in our community, we don't see a direct impact on paying for RCMP services. In addition to that, municipalities are now going to be on the hook for the retro pay increase that the RCMP officers just agreed to. RCMP officers do deserve to be paid, but what is the impact on the Penhold ratepayer? That is to be determined. So between increasing costs of everything, less provincial funding, and more provincial taking, costs are going to be the biggest challenge moving forward. Thank you.
All right. This is a little more interesting when you're having to quickly make notes, questions that are thrown at you. All right. So again, I don't have Mike Walsh's notes up here, but I see our biggest challenge over the next 4 years as being our taxes. We've had or held or lowered our taxes the last 7 years, and I just can't see that being a reality over the next term. We have a lot of challenges coming to our table. We can try to be as fiscally responsible as possible, but there's only so much we can do. As Walsh alluded to, we do have a policing tax that the province has put on all municipalities under 5,000. By 2024, that's going to be a $200,000 hit on our budget, which equates to almost 5%. We have a school requisition that the province leverages out of us every year. It's basically a money in, money out, and realistically, that's going to continue to go up. The province has got issues or has got problems with their funds. They need more. They've also told us that our infrastructure grants are going to be dropping. They're offloading more and more to municipalities and expecting us to do more with less. The reality of the savings that we saw this year was on the backs of layoffs at our town. Hopefully with COVID, that won't be a reality next year. So realistically, there'll be more costs. And we've had staffing reductions the last 4 years on our term. And realistically, if we want to continue to grow this community and do more, we're going to probably look at doing staffing increases like the economic development officer I suggested earlier in the previous session. So we also need to be lucrative with our wages. If we want to retain our staff that we have, that we value, that are experienced and do a great job, we want to make sure we don't lose them, because you lose them, you're also losing their knowledge, and it costs money to train people. And the reality of it is residents want more programming and more services, and we can't do that on less money. Thank you.
I think listening to the first two councillors, we're probably all in the same boat with this. we know what's coming ahead of us. We are trying to keep our taxes stable, but what's coming next is going to really hit us in the pocketbook. The police funding is high now for towns under 5,000. In the next few years, it's going to keep increasing year after year after year. And it's something that we are going to have to pay. Same with the school requisitions. It's kind of like a direct withdrawal from your bank account. We don't see the money as a town. We collect it, but it goes into our account and then straight out to the provincial government. And as Councillor Walsh had said, we are working hard to try to get the provincial government to take this tax under their umbrella and put the responsibility where it should be and not with us. Again, as Councillor Bueller had said, we are looking at increases for our staff. We want to keep good staff on track, and the only way we can do it is to make them in parity with other communities, and we're working hard to do that while keeping our taxes under control. Thank you.
Okay, so the question was, do I feel would be the toughest challenge in the next 4 years? Okay, well, there's several things there. One, yes, absolutely being taxes. So I kind of figured this topic would come up. So I did some phoning around to realtors in the surrounding municipalities like Sundre, Didsbury, Westlock, places with a population base similar to that of our own. What I found is that we're pretty comparable in our rate. So, I mean, do I like paying thousands of dollars every year? No, but I mean, it's a necessary evil. But in comparison, say, to Sylvan Lake, whose population is 10,000 more than us, yes, Sylvan's a bit lower, but they also have a larger base to pull from. So even when you look at the snow removal, for example, compared to Red Deer, it's night and day. Our public works is pretty on it compared to the priority 3 streets of that in Red Deer. I will say I definitely try to work within our budget to stave off any increases, but I think it's safe to say no one wants to see an increase. Ways to stop, to help that would be to, next thing would be one of our biggest hurdles would be to stay competitive. We've got Junction 42 just down the road here, and we've also got Red Deer just to the north. We have to think of ways that we can bring businesses here to Penhold, make Penhold attractive to do business in. And, sorry, looking at my notes here. I think those would be, honestly, I think those are our 2 biggest hurdles that we'd be dealing with. So thank you.
Well, what do I feel will be the toughest challenge being on council for the next 4 years? Well, if I'm elected, I feel the toughest part for town council will be trying to help the community get through the tough times ahead and the current times we're having. Everybody could use help and try to get through this pandemic, whatever it is, financially and mentally. So as a community, we need to help those people get through it as best we can. Also, we need to listen to the people and help them get through it stronger and healthier when it's all over, so we can continue to grow as a community. Obviously, taxes is an issue. Everybody wants that to go down or stay the same. I believe council has done a great job keeping it where it is and lowering it over the last few years. Bringing business to town will help that and keep it the same. Crime, I think crime is an issue. Paying it the amount we pay for RCMP at $94,000 is a lot, but needed. But we also have a great resource in town, being our 2 peace officers. They both come with great knowledge and experience, and I think we need to rely on them and talk to them on what they feel the community needs and what we can do to help them lower the crime in the town. Thank you.
Our toughest challenge for the next 4 years will be maintaining our infrastructure and facilities and doing more with less money coming in. We all want to have more amenities to take our children, have a great time, come home, have a nice meal, and relax. In the future, council will need to prioritize what projects or initiatives that they're wanting to tackle and make those the one priority at a time if need be. Attracting business and attracting new residents to our community will be an ongoing effort, and looking at promoting our community more, and being willing to listen and learn will certainly be continued challenges. Thank you.
The toughest challenges, I believe, will be coming out of a pandemic and remaining fiscally reasonable and responsible with our taxpayers' money. We will have substantial costs, as Councillor Walsh and many others mentioned, and we need to deal with those in a sustainable way. The second challenge we will face as a council is dealing with less than competent leaders at both the provincial and federal levels of government, and competent leaders that only seek to realize other people's incompetence. And we must also find a vision among all the division. We have so many government leaders in our province and our country that have a feeling that just because they have the right to do something automatically makes it the right thing to do. We are a small town, and we need to advocate on behalf of our citizens at both levels of government and do whatever we can to come out of this pandemic stronger and better than ever.
As I've talked to many residents over this last couple weeks, the concerns that you've shared with me has been taxes and your tax dollars and being spent in a fiscally responsible way. And what we've seen with the RCMP decisions in increasing RCMP costs for towns under $5,000, it is a large hit to our community. And the new council is going to have to advocate, especially to Innisfail, who is in our district, for RCMP services. The new council is going to have to advocate on behalf of Penhold. What are we getting for those services? What type of policing are we going to get for that, for the funding that's going towards that? We have to figure out ways to be creative in this next season of time. Many people are seeing obstacles in this season, but there is opportunity still during this time, and we as a council have to be creative in seeing those opportunities. I believe we can do that through building the Highway 42 sector I was talking about, through industrial and commercial growth, and also through the new home buyer incentive program for residents. We got to continue to think outside the box, and I believe if we have a council that's willing to work together for the better good of our community and to make sound fiscal decisions, we'll make it strong through like we did this last 4 years. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, candidates. That takes us to our second question of part 2. What measures or steps do candidates believe we should take to improve diversity in the community, including LGBTQ?
Well, thank you. I would hope that we wouldn't have to deal with some of the things that some people have to deal with in other communities. Number one for me would be council has to ensure that there are no policies anywhere that exclude any person or any group of people. For these groups, we could have our community services team work directly with them, provide support to them, or be able to direct them to the proper place to get support for whatever they need. We could also work within schools or other groups and assist with young people that are dealing with these issues every day. So we need to be inclusive to all people and make sure no one is left out or left behind. Thank you.
We can acknowledge that diversity exists in our community, and we can take actions that, show our supports. For example, during Pride Week, some communities will paint rainbow crosswalks. That's something we could look at doing. And I know in our community already, this facility has a nice lighting feature on the building, and we use that to support different causes throughout the year as well, and that's nothing we can continue. I know that this council had a conversation with the recent Truth and Reconciliation that came to effect here at the end of September. And we, acknowledge that that conversation needs to happen if we're going to move forward. And we lit the multiplex up in orange. we wore the shirts, for the Aboriginal Pride Month earlier in the year. So I think that advocacy, that conversation, that support, showing that we don't tolerate prejudice and exclusion of anybody in our community, that is a big role that we can do as counselors, and be open to hearing from our community members that represent these other groups to any suggestions they have, because sometimes what we come up with is a little too orchestrated, a little too formal, and maybe they have ideas that are a little more open to represent their group. So those are my ideas as to what we can do. Thank you.
As a council, we need to show, and as a person, we need to show sensitivity to others and realize their diversities. We need to educate, not just ourselves, but others around us. And we need to have awareness of those people that are showing on the I don't want to say different. That would be totally wrong. I will just carry on. Everyone matters, whether without bias and without preconceived notions. We need to do better, and we need to do it now. People are in trouble. Thank you.
Okay, so I think that where was I? Had some notes, right? I think that everybody needs to be welcome in this town. Everybody. There are things that we can do to make sure that everybody's feeling included here. Nobody should feel like Penhold's not their home. One, would be talk to that base themselves, the LGBTQ community. Things like, once again, we can, during Pride Week, we could fly a rainbow flag, when we've got our parade, have that in our parade. Why the heck not? Everybody here deserves to have a voice. I'm sorry. I think just ask those questions, also, to be honest, there's also the fact of mental, I'm so sorry. Mental problems are a big deal for everybody right now. With COVID, we've seen so many people shut in. And this group has felt shut in for years and years. And we have to do what we can to help with that. Maybe we could even do something like have links to supports, even just on our webpage. But I think the biggest thing is ask questions, put it out there, and see what other people have for solutions as well. Okay, thank you.
So what kind of steps should we take as counselors to help in the community with diversity and LGBTQ community? Well, being a small community, we should be welcoming no matter what your life choice or nationality is. It doesn't matter, shouldn't matter. The tough part in the LGBTQ community is for people or young people trying to deal with the complications of others in the community, singling them out. So we need to look at support groups for all types of situations that we can help these communities, the community grow, and the people in these situations be more welcome, so they feel happier and they can come out into the community and not worry about being ashamed or anything like that. So as a counselor, I think we should be offering help and any type of any type of support groups or anything we should be listing and helping and providing. And that's what I think.
Okay, what measures should we take as a council? We should be willing to learn and work with our community services to work with the Welcoming Communities initiatives, which has been available to municipalities for over 10 years. This would help our community learn and understand the diverse cultures that we have here in our community. Every resident should feel welcome and included. No labels, just be included in everything that we do. And yeah, and be respected. Thank you.
Just standing around taking it all in. As a government agency, Council for the Town of Penhold has a responsibility to be making sure that we have no exclusive policies for our town employees as well as the residents in our town. We need to advocate for all groups, including LGBTQ, without giving advantage to any one group over another. This work will largely and must take place in schools, where kids learn from the beginning the differences among us. And we must learn in schools to address those differences and do so with respect. We also must provide social supports for all marginalized groups, those who require help and those who are afraid to seek it themselves. And we must, during this time of pandemic, offer the mental health supports that all of us and all our friends and neighbors so desperately need to the groups that have needed them all along. These are the things we can do as a small town municipal government to support the groups within our town that make Penhold great.
The steps that I would take in promoting diversity in our town, I have some experience in that. The church that I pastor at, we have people from all different walks of life. We have people from 42 different nations that attend our church. We have people that are LGBTQ that attend our church. We have people that are transgender that attend our church. And we have a very welcoming community in our church. And I believe that needs to happen in our town as well. We need to have a welcoming community to people of diversity, and that also includes people of different nationalities. I've had the privilege to sit down with people and talk about diversity, and one of the best ways to figure out how we as a council can manage during these times is to actually listen and hear what people have to say. We don't know what it's like to live in these challenging times as these different diversity groups. And the best thing that we can do is be an ear and listen to them and help understand where they're coming from. And in our community of Penhold, I just want to say from my standpoint, we have to be welcoming to everybody that comes to our community. Our community has to be welcome for anybody, no matter what they look like, where they've come from, no matter what job they have, no matter what social status they have. Penhold needs to be home to everybody, and we need to create that atmosphere. And as a council team, as a future council team, we are responsible for setting that atmosphere. As a council team, how we lead that will determine how our town leads that. So we have a large responsibility in leading through that really, really well and being welcoming and inclusive. And so as we work together, as we listen to people, and as we truly value people, I really believe that God's created us all equally. And we value people for who they are, and we value people's opinions, and we work together for the betterment of our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much again, candidates, and we'll move to our final question. What is your vision for Penhold 20 years from now? Mike.
Thank you. Could you imagine a Penhold with 10,000 or more people? A vibrant, inclusive community. A community that has a balance between industrial, commercial, and residential base. It is crucial that we build towards the 2 and 42 junction. In May, there were 16,000 trucks parked at the junction alone. If we build it, they will come. We also have to have a community that takes care of all aspects of life, taking care of everyone's physical well-being through recreational facilities and programs and amenities. We need to take care of people's social well-being through different programs and bringing people together, all people together. And we need to take care of the economic well-being of everybody through a wide range of businesses, industrial, commercial. We need a strong transportation network. We have access to the rail and to the QE2. And we need to have sound, solid infrastructure that moves us into the future. Thank you very much.
All right, so a vision in 20 years. I'm not quite as optimistic as Walsh. I'm saying maybe doubling our population by that time. That will lead to our community having a large commercial or industrial sector, which then should turn the trend of a bedroom community into more people living and working in Penhold. We'll have completed the multiplex recreation area to its full potential with 3 baseball diamonds, expanded multi-access park, soccer fields, fish pond, named Yarjo Ponds, and a center stage for community events. Sorry, inside joke for the crowd out there. And a center stage for community events. There'll be a second arena added to the multiplex, and there will be a community that has options to live out their years in Penhold with various diverse housing options for any budget. But I also hope that we maintain our small town charm where neighbors know each other and people help each other out, being snow angels and many other acts of kindness.
Well, the question is, what is your vision for Penhold in 20 years from now? I can guarantee my vision in 20 years will not be 2020. We have some annexed land that we have not developed yet. We still have to purchase it from the landowners. I believe that we can use this annexed land to grow a vibrant residential, economic, industrial, and inclusive town with amenities for all ages, making it a community that people will seek out. Thank you very much.
All right, well, 20 years from now, I don't know if many of you remember when Costco was out there all by its lonesome. And then it seemed almost absurd that Staples moved out there. They were in the middle of nowhere. And now look at Gasoline Alley. I mean, you can't stop progress. So I think it's really important this next stint here that we end up doing, that we really try to grow our businesses. That Junction 42, that's key, you know, for growing our town. Also, having some housing, you know, getting some sort of low income housing, giving people the dignity of having independent living in their older age so they don't have to leave town. Also, for us, I can see Penhold. I mean, we had the Grey Cup brought here. That was fantastic. We had the Hlinka Cup, fantastic. That was great to have here. I can see us bringing in more things like more tournaments and stuff. Red Deer has brought in the rodeo for the next 10 years. So I guess we're on year 8 now because of COVID. But we can market to that, and I think Penhold has great potential. So yeah, I guess see you in 20 years. Thank you.
What is my vision for Penhold in 20 years? Well, I view Penhold being a vibrant, happy community where people are happy to grow their families here. Where my children are raising their family, enjoying the work the council has done with community members. I want Penhold to be the place of choice for all families to move and enjoy the future parks, future recreation, and all the future amenities that this town needs and will get. I feel that Penhold in 20 years should still be the community that when you go grocery shopping, it takes you an hour because you're too busy talking and your wife is texting you wondering where you are and why you are taking so long, and the kids are hungry. So that's my vision for Penhold in 20 years.
So my vision for the next 20 years. First of all, I'd like to say for the last 42 years, when starting out as a young counselor and realizing that we have a landscape amongst us that is ready to be painted. And our vision then was to grow our community. And my vision for the next 20 years is that I hope we continue to grow our community, to be a safe community, to be a welcoming community, to do better and be better. My vision is that we continue to have a small town atmosphere with many more amenities, more business and attractions that draw people to our community, affordable housing and recreation opportunities that are amazing for everyone to use and have the ability to enjoy. Thank you.
There's a Greek saying that a society becomes great when old men plant trees whose shade they will not sit. In 20 years, I'll only be 58, so I'm more optimistic that I'll get to sit in the shade a little bit. I should throw out that my wife will be 59 and we're not, you never know. So, I love you, honey. For Penhold, 20 years in the future, I see a town not burdened by the decisions that our council has made. I see a town that looks back and is proud of the roots that we've planted for them, with decisions like developing the 2 and 42 junction, an opportunity that we will never have again. I also hope that we can diversify our business base, lower taxes, and provide residents with the amenities they need. We need substantial yet sustainable growth in the next 20 years, and we need to make sure that the businesses that come to Penhold stay in Penhold. I also am hoping that Penhold is a community that is safe and secure for all people, no matter what their color or creed, no matter where they belong. This is a town for them. I'm also hopeful that when all these things happen, when the town grows big, and in 20 years when I'm 58, the kids still stay outside until the lights come on. Thank you.
What do I see for Penhold in 20 years? Well, I'll be 64 years old in 20 years, and I want to retire here. I'd like to have a home here. I'd like to have affordable housing here for myself at that age. I'd like a place where my grandkids can grow up, where my grandkids can play outside and have fun, and where Penhold could still be a safe community, where Penhold can still be the community that it is today. I'm expecting Penhold to grow a lot in the next 20 years. But with growth, we can still have community safety. This can still be the safe small town that it is today. Just because there's more people doesn't mean the town has to lose that small town feeling. I think we've done a great job the last few years with Fall Festival, really inviting new residents to town who've gotten to know other residents, and it's developed so much community. And I look at things like that into the future, the bigger events that we're going to hold, the community events that we're going to hold that are really going to bring people together. I look at business opportunities that are going to come in the next 20 years where instead of people driving to Red Deer to work, they're going to just maybe ride their bikes in the summer to work in Penhold, or they're going to be able to walk to work in Penhold, and people will be able to work here and sustain a living in town. I also look at the development of industrial and commercial that we've talked about earlier, and I believe Penhold's going to be thriving in the next within the next 20 years and before the next 20 years. Penhold's in an extremely exciting position where we are today. We've come through this last period of time strong, and the best is yet to come for our town. I believe that this next 4 years with our council, if elected, we're going to be able to make decisions that'll move our town forward and ensure success 20 years from now. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for painting that beautiful picture of our community. I look forward to retiring in it too. And thanks for injecting some humor into the evening. We'll now move to part 3, where each candidate will provide their closing remarks.
Thank you. On October 18th, you get to make a choice on who represents you and who represents our town for the next 4 years. I hope that based on my experience as someone who has listened and helped you, who has a proven track record of being fiscally responsible, and as someone who is a proven team player, not just with council, but within the region, that I can earn your support. I am committed to remaining fiscally responsible. It is going to be crucial that the next council is fiscally responsible because there are some challenging times coming. I am committed to affordable and accessible amenities through collaboration with community groups and regional partners. I'm committed to helping people with mental health challenges. I am committed to growing Penhold through business attraction and potential business incentives, to finishing the recreation area around the multiplex, and to develop a long-term plan towards 2 and 42. I am a team player, and on October 18th, I ask you to vote Mike Walsh for Penhold Town Council. Thank you.
The goal of council is to leave the town in a better standing than when you started. Reflecting on this past term, I think the town is in a great position for continued growth and prosperity. We saw the implementation of a solar-powered project on this multiplex. We saw an LED lighting retrofit on the building, and we saw LED street lights come to Penhold. The construction of the multi-access skate park became a reality. The completion of our new water reservoir set us up for water capacity double of our existing population. And the completion of the campground that draws more and more people each year to visit our town. I am passionate about continuing to improve Penhold for the future and taking my role as a councillor seriously. I rarely miss a council or committee meeting and always focus heavily each week to keep up to date on news media and social media. I think it's important to stay informed and have gained a reputation of being someone that will read the entire agenda package to ensure that I'm not missing a detail. I hope I can count on your vote October 18th, and please feel free to contact me with any of your questions.
I have enjoyed my time on council in the last 4 years, and I look forward to another 4 years. But I'd like to say some thanks. We live in a great town, but we also live in a chaotic time. The town has led the way to bring service, relief, and a sense of safety to our community. To my council members, to staff, especially the FCSS, thank you. To the Penhold Fire Department, you have gone above and beyond. And let's always remember to watch out and care for one another. I hope I have your vote on October 18th. Thank you.
Well, I suppose first, thank you. And thank you to all of you for tuning in and submitting your questions. I have to say that it has been an absolute pleasure getting to speak with people in the community these last few weeks and getting to hear from you about your concerns regarding our town. I really hope to be able to address those concerns directly, serving as your council member. Also, I'd like to say I truly appreciate everyone's support and encouraging words. This has really been quite the experience. And having said that, though, it's also fueled me and confirmed for me why I love our town so much. I look forward to your support on election night, October 18th. Thank you.
Let's do this without a script. I do it much better when I'm not reading. October 18th, let's come out and vote. It's your chance to vote for the community's future. I would hope you'd vote for me, given everything I've done for the community and where I want to go with the community. Like I've mentioned, been part of the fire department for 14 years. I've already been deeply committed to the community, and I want to do more. Given the chance, I agree with most what everybody said. We need to work with everybody. We got to make the town better, move forward, and be stronger. We just got to work together. It's not just about me, it's about everybody. So on the 18th, October 18th, come out and vote. It's for the future, best for the community.
Well, thank you everyone for joining in this evening. I believe our community's success is built from working together and having respect for one another. We need to have the willingness to collaborate with our community on various initiatives and have the ability to build relationships with various levels of government and our neighboring municipalities. My municipal experience, proven leadership and dedication, and a mindset that anything is possible would be an asset to further our community's future. Your thoughts and concerns about our community are important to me, and I would love to hear from you. On October 18th, please vote Julia King. I would love to be your council representative again. Thank you.
Over the past 4 years, I've been humbled and honored to serve the citizens of Penhold as a councillor. We have faced many challenges during that time that none of us could have anticipated, but we worked together to continue serving the residents of our town, and I'm proud of the work we've accomplished. To my fellow incumbents, thank you for putting your names forward again, despite all the challenges that you know we will again face if re-elected. To the new candidates, thank you for putting your name forward despite the uncertainty of not knowing. And to Julia, I thought you'd know better by now. Congratulations to Mayor Michael Yargeau on being acclaimed as our mayor. There could not be a better choice if this went to an election. And to Councillor Sanchez, thank you for your dedicated service to our town during your time on council for the last many years. Lastly, to the residents of Penhold, thank you for taking the time to listen and to learn and to cast your vote October 18th. The cool thing about democracy is that regardless of the choices you'll make, they will be the right ones, even if it's not me. It has been my greatest pride and privilege to serve you, and I'm humbled by the opportunity to potentially serve you again. And I hope that you put your faith in me for 4 more years. To my fellow candidates, good luck. And to the residents of Penhold, good night and God bless.
I want to say this last 4 years has been an honor serving you as Penhold Town Council. I've worked hard for you and have represented our community with honest and transparent leadership. I was unwavering with the values that you elected me on 4 years ago. I served this last year giving the best that I had. Whether it was serving on the Fall Festival Community, the Skate Park MAP Committee, the Carts Committee, the Municipal Planning Commission, and representing Penhold as board chair of the Red Deer and District Community Foundation. I'm committed to work hard to represent you every day, Penhold. From the youngest to the oldest, you are important and your voice is important. Penhold, I'm asking for your vote on October 9th. Would you vote for honest, transparent, and proven leadership? Would you vote for Sean Ham for Penhold Town Council? Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night.
Well, thanks so much to all of you for putting your names forward. I've learned some interesting statistics tonight, something about the average age of our community, the number of youth that live in our community, the rental statistics in our community, and some of the challenges you'll face if you're elected. I hope none of you have changed your minds. Good luck to you all. Special thanks to Brian Constantine, who managed the technology for us tonight that allowed us to come together, and to Bonnie from the town office, who kept us all informed. Thank you to the library. Thank you. Thank you to the library for sharing this wonderful facility for us. Remember, you can vote for up to 6 of these 9 candidates on October 18th between 10 and 8 at the multiplex here. And again, thank you. Good night to you all. Thanks for joining us.